Okay, now we're going to talk about analyzing woofs. Like I said last time, analyzing woofs, or well-formed formulas, is the process of deconstructing a woof to find out how it was made. And this can become important because if you can deconstruct a woof, you can construct one, and you can construct one properly. And this will be helpful in the long run. What you can do with all of this powerful logic is solve really hard problems or figure out really complex situations. So let's start here with analyzing woofs, and we'll go ahead and let's figure what we're going to do. We're going to do a nice blue here. So the first step in analyzing a woof is to start out by writing down the woof. So let's come up with a simple one for right now. We'll come up with a story here. Let's say you're in a situation where you don't have milk, right? But you do have chocolate. Now, I remember one Christmas, my buddy Dave and I we were at my house, and people were bringing over treats, and we'd eaten a whole bunch of chocolates and sweets, and we didn't have milk. So after about 15 minutes of binging on chocolate and rich Christmas treats, we really needed a glass of milk. And when we opened the fridge to find out there wasn't any milk, oh, we were sad. So if you're ever in this situation, let's say you don't have milk, but you do have chocolate, what are you going to do? Well, in my situation, if I knew that going in, I would say that equals picking out something else to eat. You know, maybe sugar, some sugary snack or hard candy, right? Or maybe sausage. S starts with sausage. You don't need milk for sausage. Okay, so if we start by looking at this, we're going to analyze this woof, okay? And we start by finding the operator, right? And our operators, right, we have and we can also do an and as a little roof. We have or, right? We can do or as this little ditch or U shape, okay? We have equals, right? We have our implication operator, right? That looks like a little magnet that sticks to things, right? Imagine there's a little magnet and you can put a bar here and it would stick to that thing. And you can hold it with your little hand right here. Okay, so here's your implication, right? And of course, we have our not operator. That we can have our little fang there, or we can have our squiggle line. Okay, so we have our operators. Okay, so we start with the operator that is outside of all parentheses. Okay, so we start here. And we just start by doing a little branch. Boom, boom. Okay, so now we've made our little branch. Okay. And well, you know what? Let's do something else, just for ease, because sometimes these things actually start getting really complicated, and you start running out of room. So it's actually a pretty decent idea to actually redraw your operator, and then you do a little branch out of your operator. Okay, so now you can remember. Okay, this is what we're working on. Okay, and you drop down the sides of each side over here. So over here, we just drop down our S. Okay, boom, there's our S. On this side, we can drop down this part, but now we don't have to draw the parentheses, the little walls around it. So we're going to still say not milk and chocolate. Okay, so there we go. So now that we don't have parentheses around it, we can actually drop down the little and operator. So we go and we give it a little branch here. And we can drop down and we put the C. Okay, so there's our C for chocolate. And we drop down our not milk. M. Now, the not operator is the only exception to this little rule. We're going to still go ahead and put our little not operator here, but we can just go ahead and drop down our not operator, and we just put a line. And now we bring this letter and we go, okay, here's where milk goes. We know we've properly analyzed or deconstructed a woof when we only have single letters, right? Here's a single letter. It doesn't have anything else around it. It's not connected to anything, or it's not related to anything else. Here is a single letter, and here is a single letter. So this is a properly analyzed woof. Now this is actually a pretty simple woof, And I'm going to give there's going to be a PDF there with a whole bunch of other practice exercises. There's actually going to be a couple that are pretty complicated, but just remember the first thing you got to do is you're going to kind of you're going to ungroup the woof right here, right? You're going to first start right here. You're going to first start with the operator that is outside of any punctuation, okay? And then you do your little branching technique right here. We branch off of the operator and you drop the parts down. And you drop down those things that are all by themselves, or in the case of a knot, you drop down the knot and then you get it down there. And you also remove the outside parentheses. So if there was more over here, we'd remove the outside parentheses and then drop it down. And then you keep branching and you keep dropping and you keep branching until all you have are nice single little letters, right? And you're happy. And at that point, you have a fully analyzed woof.